Hello. Today we will discuss a thesis statement on education system in Pakistan. I will explain to you the composition, its composition, and the ideas I will discuss in this thesis statement. So a thesis statement is basically a complex statement, and it is not a run-on sentence. Avoid making run-on sentences in your essay because a run-on sentence contains more than two conjunctions, and it's basically an error. So a thesis statement can contain maximum two conjunctions and it's a complex statement. We make it with the help of phrases and clauses. So first of all, I will read it for you. After that, we will discuss its formulation. The education system has failed to produce desired results in our country owing to the failure of previous governments to implement meaningful reforms in this sector, which have restricted the progress of our country by decreasing the literacy rate. Therefore, there is an urgent need to formulate result oriented policies to reform the education sector in order to pave the way for the development of Pakistan, which is necessary to ensure bright future of our generations. So this is a complex statement and it contains almost 80 words, and it is not a random statement. It contains only two connections. So now I will discuss the ideas I have discussed in the thesis statement. So the first line, the education sector has failed to produce desired results in our country. So in the very first line, I have defined the problem that education sector has failed to perform. And in the very next line, I have defined the reason. Owing to the failure of previous governments to implement meaningful reforms in the sector. So in the very first line, I have defined the problem. In the second line, I have explained the reason of for the failure of our education system, and the reason is failure of the previous governments. And in the third line, um, I have defined the impacts of the failure of our education system, which has restricted the progress of our country. So this is an impact that due to the failure of our education system, the progress of our country has been restricted. How? By decreasing the literacy rate. So I have also mentioned that how the progress of our country has been restricted because of the failure of our education system. So in these four lines, I have uh, mentioned about the problem, the reason for the problem, the impact of the problem, and how it has impacted. So this these four lines, uh, it's a single statement, and we have defined the problem, its impacts and reason. Now we will move towards the solution side uh, to give a solution and a future reflection also. So when we move toward the solution side, we are going for transition from the problem to the solution side. So for transition, we use transition phrase. No, let's see. Therefore, there is an urgent need to formulate result-oriented policies. So now I have explained or I have mentioned that what we need to do. We need to do make result-oriented policies. Why? To reform the education sector. Why we need to reform education sector? In order to pave the way for the development of Pakistan. So you can see that after the transition phrase, I have mentioned about the policies we need to make, uh, why we need to make policies for the development of Pakistan, and now in the last line, I have given a future reflection for the of the policies we are describing here, which is necessary to ensure bright future of our generation. So this is future reflection that result-oriented policies are very necessary to ensure bright future of our generation. So this is a thesis statement, and it's a crux, and it is limiting the scope of my essay. How? In the first line, it is defining about the problem. In the second line, the reason for the problem, why problem occurred. In the third line, the impact of the problem. and then transition. Then we are moving to the solution side. We have mentioned about the solution, and then the impact of the solution and future reflection. So you can see that I have balanced my thesis statement. I have not only explained the problem, but I have also mentioned the possible remedies and the output of those remedies on the future generations. Now I have used participle phrase in this, which clause, again in infinitive phrase, purpose phrase, transition phrase, purpose phrase, a Ruby clause of purpose, and which clause. It's also called non-defining clause. So you can see that I have used phrases and clauses to compose the thesis statement, and it contains about 80 words. So this is how you compose a thesis statement. And now how can you write on your essay on the basis of the thesis statement? So you can easily write on your essay. You can on the basis of the thesis statement. How? In the very first line you have explained that our education system has failed to perform. So you can discuss this point in your essay, that it just failed to perform. And in the second line I have mentioned the reason. So you can discuss the reasons in detail in your essay. And in the third line, I have mentioned the impact of the failure of education system. So you can also discuss the impacts in your essay of the failure of education system. Then after the transition, we are moving to the solution side. So I have mentioned the solution that is we need to make result oriented policies. So you can also discuss which policies we have to make to improve our education sector. So you can also discuss this point in your essay, and you will discuss the impacts of the policies development of Pakistan in your essay. You can discuss this point also in your essay, and in the end you have to give future reflection. So you can base your essay, or you can write your essay with help of the thesis statement also. But you need to work on the thesis statement because it's a complex statement and it contains how many ideas it contains? Let me tell you: one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight ideas. It contains eight different ideas, and still it's a complex statement because we have used only two conjunctions, one or two conjunction in this. So thank you so much, and do subscribe because I am gonna share more thesis statements on other topics also. So thank you so much, and keep watching to see more videos. Thank you.